Interview I did with Tracey Bradley after she reported the girls missing, she said Tionda left a note when she returned from work.
I found the note on a chair saying that me and Diamond went to the school and went to the store.
New tonight at 10, a search for answers in a missing sisters mystery. Diamond and Tionda Bradley disappeared from their Chicago home 20 years ago. Tonight, their family and friends gathered to remember them and to ask for help finding out what happened to them. NBC5's Regina Waldrop on the story live tonight. Regina?
Stephan, their mother says it's been a long, hard road, but she refuses to give up. She says this week she plans to ask Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx to reopen her daughter's case. 20 years have come and gone, but their hope still strong as ever.
We have to keep them in the public's eye. We have to keep hope alive. We have to keep them in the news.
Family members believe that one day missing sisters Tionda and Diamond Bradley will come home.
We're going to make sure that everyone, by the time we're done, everyone knows Tionda and Diamond's name.
As they've done for 2 decades, relatives gathered at 35th and Lake Park near the apartment where the family once lived to mark yet another year.
April and I always believe in coming back to where it started.
The date, July 6, 2001. Then 10-year-old Tionda, 3-year-old Diamond are said to have left a note for their mom saying they were going to the store in the park. The note was supposedly written by Tionda. When they didn't return, a frantic search to find them followed. Shalia Bradley Smith is their great aunt. She remains adamant that someone who knew the girls took them.
Everybody knows these kids just did not vanish.
These are new age progression images of what the sisters might look like now. Their mother and others say they'd like Kim Foxx to reopen this case.
We open everything up and start from the beginning to the end.
The Chicago police tell me this remains an open investigation and they continue to follow up on any tips, but they say there haven't been any new leads in this case. I'm live at Chicago Police Headquarters tonight. Regina Waldrop, NBC5 News.
Let's hope those new pictures maybe spark a memory or something in someone.
Tracey Bradley lived on the south side of Chicago, Illinois, in the Lake Grove Village apartments. She lived there with her 4 daughters, Rita, age 12, Tionda, 10, Victoria, 9, and Diamond, who was 3 years old. Tracey's mom lived nearby, so the girls often spent time at their grandmother's apartment. On July 6, 2001, Tracey's boyfriend George made plans to take her and the girls camping. However, he made plans for himself, Tracey, and only 2 of her daughters, Tionda and Diamond, the 10 and 3-year-old. So the other 2 girls spent the night at their grandmother's. Tracey and George, they had an on-again, off-again relationship. In fact, Tracey believed he was Diamond's father, so she recently demanded that he take a paternity test. He vigorously denied being the child's father, but agreed to take the test anyway. George came over to Tracey's apartment at about 4:30 that morning. They had plans for him to take her to work at 6. Before leaving for work, Tracey reminded Tionda and Diamond not to go anywhere or answer the door for anyone. A couple hours after arriving at work, Tracey called home to check on her daughters, but there was no answer. She wasn't alarmed because she was probably thinking they went back to sleep or were playing and didn't hear the phone. She continued working until the end of her shift. George picked her up from work and took her back to her apartment sometime after 11 a.m. When Tracey entered the door, she called out for Tionda and Diamond. Again, no answer. She searched the apartment for the girls, but they weren't there. She looked over at the couch and noticed a letter. There was a note in Tionda's handwriting that said, "She and Diamond were going to the store and playground and will be right back." This was odd to Tracey, since normally Tionda would call, not write a note. Plus, she told her not to go anywhere. Tracey searched the neighborhood for her girls and called family and friends. No one had seen or heard from the girls. At around 7 p.m., she reported her daughters missing. By this time, they were missing for 7.5 hours. It's reported that Tracey waited to call the police because she was afraid that they would call DCF on her for leaving the girls alone. The authorities took the call seriously and immediately jumped into action. They searched tirelessly for the girls and went through hundreds of tips, which led to nowhere. As of 2023, almost 22 years later, Tionda and Diamond are still missing. Reflecting back on the case, some people felt that George, the boyfriend, was responsible for the girl's disappearance. Others even said that Tracey was involved because of her lack of assistance with the case. Both of them took lie detector tests. Tracey passed, but George's test was inconclusive, meaning that the examiner was unable to determine if there was truth or deception. While Tionda and Diamond were missing, the paternity test results came back, which proved that George was indeed Diamond's father. If you have any information about this case, please contact the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children directly at 1-800-THE-LOST, or you can call the Chicago Police Department detectives at 312-747-8380. There is a $10,000 reward for information in the case of the missing Bradley sisters. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this case. Please like, share, and subscribe. Until the next one, be safe out there.